What if I told you that right now, at this very moment, there's an invisible force operating in your life that's 90% more powerful than your conscious thoughts? A force that's been quietly shaping your relationships, your bank account, your health, and every circumstance you're experiencing right now. In 1963, a man walked into Dr. Joseph Murphy's office. He was broke, depressed, and convinced his life was cursed. 6 months later, he owned a successful business and was engaged to the woman of his dreams. What changed? Not his circumstances, not his education, just one thing. He learned how to work with his subconscious mind instead of against it. Today, we're diving deep into The Laws of the Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy, a book that's been changing lives for decades but remains hidden from most people. And I'm going to break down the exact mental laws that, once you understand them, will give you the blueprint to reprogram your reality from the inside out. But here's the warning. This isn't fluffy manifestation theory. These are psychological and spiritual principles that, when applied correctly, produce real results. So if you're ready to stop being a victim of your circumstances and become the architect of your life, stay with me until the end, because the last law I share might be the most powerful one you've ever learned. Before we jump in, let me tell you who Joseph Murphy was, because understanding the messenger helps us trust the message. Dr. Joseph Murphy wasn't some armchair philosopher. He was a divine science minister, a scholar of world religions, and a counselor who worked with thousands of people facing real problems: bankruptcy, illness, broken relationships, addiction. And what he discovered was fascinating. He found that beneath all the different problems people faced, there was one common thread. They didn't understand how their own minds worked. They were using their most powerful tool, their subconscious mind, in ways that created more problems instead of solutions. Murphy spent decades studying ancient wisdom traditions, modern psychology, and quantum physics. And what emerged was a set of universal laws, mental laws, that govern how thoughts become things, how beliefs create circumstances, and how anyone, regardless of their past, can completely transform their future. The laws of the mind isn't just theory, it's a practical manual. And today, I'm going to walk you through the most important laws Murphy discovered, along with real examples of how they work and how you can apply them starting today. Law number 2. The Law of Mental Equivalence. Law number 2 is what Murphy calls the Law of Mental Equivalence, and this is where things get really interesting. Here's the principle. Your outer world is a precise reflection of your inner world. You cannot have one without the other. Murphy puts it brilliantly. As within, so without. As above, so below. Think of your mind as a mental factory. Whatever you're manufacturing in your thoughts, beliefs, and mental images must manifest as your circumstances. It's a law like gravity. You can't escape it. Murphy tells the story of a businessman who kept failing. He'd start a business, it would collapse. He'd try again, same result. 5 businesses in 10 years, all failures. This man came to Murphy desperate and confused. He was smart, hardworking, educated. What was wrong? Murphy asked him to describe his mental picture of business, and the man said something revealing. I keep thinking about all the ways it could fail. I worry constantly about losing money, about competition, about making mistakes. There it was. His mental equivalent of business was failure. So no matter what he did in the external world, his subconscious mind was steering him toward the mental picture he held. Murphy taught him to build a new mental equivalent. Every day, this man would spend 15 minutes visualizing his business thriving, customers happy, money flowing, growth and expansion. He'd feel the satisfaction of success. He'd mentally rehearse making wise decisions. His next business? Successful within a year. Same man, same skills, different mental equivalent. Here's what you need to ask yourself. What mental equivalent am I holding for my health, for my relationships, for my career? Because if you're holding a mental image of struggle, lack, and limitation, that's exactly what you'll experience. Your circumstances are never the cause. They're the effect. The cause is always your mental equivalent. So how do you create a new mental equivalent? Murphy says, build it in your imagination first. Your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. Olympic athletes know this. They mentally rehearse their performance, and their brain fires the same neural pathways as if they were actually competing. Spend time every day constructing the mental equivalent of what you want. Don't just think about it, step into it. See it through your own eyes. Feel the emotions. Hear the sounds. Make it so real in your mind that your subconscious accepts it as already done. And then watch as your outer world rearranges itself to match your inner blueprint. Law 3. The Law of Substitution. Now, let's talk about law number 3, the law of substitution. And this one is a game changer if you struggle with negative thinking. Here's the law. You cannot fight a negative thought directly. The more you resist it, the more it persists. But you can replace it with a positive one. Your conscious mind can only hold one thought at a time. So when a negative thought arises, fear, worry, doubt, anger, you don't wrestle with it. You simply substitute it with its opposite. Imagine you're lying in bed at night and suddenly you start worrying about money. Your mind spirals. How am I going to pay that bill? What if I lose my job? What if? What if? What if? Most people try to fight these thoughts. Stop worrying. Don't think about it. But that doesn't work because you're still focused on the problem. Murphy teaches something different. The moment you catch yourself in a negative thought pattern, you immediately substitute a constructive one. Instead of, I can't pay my bills, you say, infinite intelligence is revealing to me the perfect solution. Money flows to me easily and abundantly. You're not denying reality. You're choosing to focus your mental energy on the solution rather than the problem. Murphy worked with a man who had developed a habit of jealousy. Every time his wife talked to another man, he'd spiral into jealous fantasies. It was destroying his marriage. Murphy taught him the law of substitution. The moment jealous thoughts arose, instead of entertaining them or fighting them, he would immediately substitute, I trust my wife completely. Our love is secure and divine. I release all fear and choose peace. It felt awkward at first, almost like lying to himself. But he persisted, and within weeks the jealous thoughts lost their power. His neural pathways were literally being rewired. He was training his subconscious to default to trust instead of fear. Here's the key. Your subconscious mind is highly suggestible. Whatever thought you focus on with emotion and repetition becomes the dominant pattern. So, when you substitute negative thoughts with positive ones consistently, you're actually reprogramming your automatic responses. Try this starting today. Every time you catch a negative thought, don't judge it or yourself. Simply say, cancel, clear, and then immediately replace it with a positive affirmation. I'm so tired becomes, I am filled with divine energy and vitality. I'm so broke becomes, I am a channel for infinite abundance. Nobody likes me becomes, I attract loving, supportive relationships. Do this consistently for 30 days and you'll be amazed at how different your mental landscape becomes. Law 4. The Law of Relaxation. Law number 4 might surprise you. The Law of Relaxation. Murphy discovered something counterintuitive. He found that the more you strain, force, and push for what you want, the more you push it away. Why? Because effort implies struggle, and struggle implies lack, and lack is a subconscious belief that repels success. Think about it. Have you ever tried really hard to remember someone's name, and the harder you tried, the more it escaped you? But the moment you relaxed and stopped trying, it popped into your mind. That's the law of relaxation at work. Murphy counseled a writer who had terrible writer's block. She'd sit at her desk for hours, forcing herself to write, stressing about deadlines, and nothing would come. She was in mental agony. Murphy told her something radical. Stop trying so hard. He taught her to relax before writing, to sit quietly, take deep breaths, and affirm, "Infinite intelligence flows through me. The perfect words come easily and naturally. I relax and let creativity flow." Then she'd begin writing without attachment to the outcome, without forcing, and the words flowed. Why? Because she removed the mental tension that was blocking her natural creative channel. Here's what Murphy understood. Your subconscious mind works best when your conscious mind gets out of the way. Anxiety, stress, and forcing create resistance. Relaxation, trust, and allowing create flow. Think of your desires like a beach ball you're holding underwater. The more you push down, force and strain, the more energy it takes. But the moment you release and relax, it naturally rises to the surface. So how do you apply this law? First, after you've affirmed your desire and visualized it clearly, release it. Don't obsess over how it will happen or when. Trust that your subconscious mind and the universe are working on your behalf. Second, practice relaxation techniques daily. Deep breathing, meditation, or simply sitting in silence. When your body is relaxed, your mind is receptive. Third, catch yourself when you're straining. If you notice tension around your goals, worry, anxiety, impatience, stop, breathe, and affirm, "I relax and trust the process. Everything I desire is unfolding perfectly." Your job is to plant the seed and water it. You don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust the natural process. Law 5. The law of the subconscious activity. All right, law number 5 is absolutely fascinating. The law of subconscious activity. Here's what Murphy discovered. Your subconscious mind never sleeps. It's working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, operating your body, processing information, and creating solutions, even when you're not consciously thinking about them. Ever gone to bed with a problem and woken up with the solution? That's your subconscious working while you sleep. There's a famous story Murphy shares about a chemist struggling with a complex formula. He'd been working on it for months with no breakthrough. Frustrated and exhausted, he decided to let it go and take a vacation. On the third day of his vacation, while he was fishing and not thinking about chemistry at all, the complete solution popped into his mind, fully formed, perfect. Why? Because while his conscious mind was relaxed and occupied, his subconscious mind continued working on the problem. And when the solution was ready, it bubbled up into his conscious awareness. Your subconscious mind is like a supercomputer with unlimited processing power, but you have to learn how to program it correctly. Murphy teaches a powerful technique he calls scientific prayer, or the sleep technique. Here's how it works. Right before you fall asleep, when your conscious mind is drowsy and your subconscious is most receptive, you clearly state your desire or problem as already solved. For example, if you need a solution to a financial problem, you don't say, Please help me figure this out. Instead, you say, "Thank you that the perfect solution is now revealed to me. I fall asleep knowing that infinite intelligence is solving this problem, and I will wake up with the answer." Then you let it go and drift off to sleep. Your subconscious mind takes that final thought and works on it throughout the night. Murphy tells the story of a woman who needed to sell her house quickly. The market was slow and she was getting desperate. He taught her the sleep technique. Every night she'd visualize her house sold, feel the relief and happiness, and affirm, "My house is sold to the perfect buyer at the perfect price. Thank you, thank you, thank you." Then she'd fall asleep in that feeling of gratitude. Within 2 weeks, she had an offer. The buyer said something interesting. "I had a dream about this house, and I knew I had to buy it." Coincidence? Murphy would say your subconscious mind is connected to a universal intelligence that orchestrates perfect circumstances. Here's what you do. Tonight, before bed, choose one thing you want solved or manifested. State it clearly as if it's already done. Feel the emotion of having it. Then release it completely and go to sleep. Do this for 21 nights straight. Let your subconscious do the heavy lifting. You might be amazed at what unfolds. Law 6. The Law of Practice. We're coming into the home stretch with law number 6, the law of practice, and this is where most people fail. They learn these principles, get excited, try them once or twice, see no immediate results, and quit. Murphy is crystal clear. Repetition is the mother of all learning. Your subconscious mind learns through repetition, not logic. You can intellectually understand these laws, but until you practice them consistently, nothing changes. Think about learning to drive. The first time you got behind the wheel, everything required conscious effort. Check mirrors, press gas, turn wheel, watch the road. It was overwhelming. But after weeks of practice, driving became automatic. Your subconscious took over. The same principle applies to mental programming. At first, affirmations and visualization feel awkward, even fake, but with consistent practice, they become your new mental default. Murphy shares the story of a man who wanted to overcome a lifelong stutter. He'd tried speech therapy, medication, everything. Nothing worked. Murphy taught him to practice a new mental pattern. Every day, multiple times a day, this man would visualize himself speaking clearly and confidently. He'd affirm, "I speak clearly, confidently, and effortlessly. Words flow from me with ease." At first, nothing changed, but he kept practicing. 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and gradually his stutter diminished. 6 months later, he was speaking publicly without hesitation. What changed? His subconscious mind accepted the new pattern through consistent repetition. Here's the hard truth. Most people give up too soon. They try affirmations for a week and say, "This doesn't work." But you've been programming your current beliefs for years, some since childhood. You can't expect to overwrite decades of mental programming in a few days. Murphy says you need at least 21 to 40 days of consistent practice to create a new subconscious pattern. Some deeper patterns might take longer, but if you persist, change is inevitable. So here's my challenge to you. Choose one area of your life you want to transform. Create a simple daily practice, 5 to 10 minutes of visualization, affirmation, and feeling. Do it every single day for 40 days. No excuses, no skipping. Make it non-negotiable like brushing your teeth. And here's the key Murphy emphasizes. Practice with feeling. It's not about mindlessly repeating words. It's about emotionally experiencing your desire as already fulfilled. When you practice this way, with consistency and emotion, your subconscious mind has no choice but to accept the new program. And once it does, your entire life will shift to match it. Law 7. The Law of Forgiveness. And now we come to the final and perhaps most transformative law, the law of forgiveness. Murphy discovered something profound. Unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It's a mental and emotional prison that blocks every good thing you're trying to attract. Why? Because resentment, anger, and bitterness keep you energetically tied to the past. And as long as you're anchored to past hurt, you can't move forward into your desired future. Murphy counseled a woman who'd been betrayed by her business partner. She lost everything: her business, her savings, her reputation. She was consumed with rage and thoughts of revenge. Murphy told her something shocking. Your unforgiveness is hurting you more than he ever did. She was furious at first. How dare he suggest she forgive? But Murphy explained, every moment you spend in resentment is a moment your subconscious is creating more negativity in your life. You're not punishing him, you're punishing yourself. He taught her a forgiveness practice. Every day she would say, I fully and freely forgive blank. I release them to their highest good. I am free and they are free. At first, the words felt like lies, but she kept practicing, and something miraculous happened. Not only did her anger dissolve, but her entire life began to transform. New opportunities appeared, her health improved, she met new business partners. She later said, forgiveness didn't excuse what he did, it freed me from carrying him in my heart as a burden. Here's what Murphy understood. Forgiveness isn't about the other person, it's about you. It's about releasing the emotional charge that's keeping you stuck. And here's the spiritual truth. Whatever you hold against another, you hold against yourself. Because at the subconscious level, there's no separation. When you harbor hate, your subconscious creates more experiences that match that vibration. But when you forgive, truly, deeply forgive, you free up massive amounts of energy. You break chains. You dissolve karmic patterns. You open yourself to receive all the good that's been trying to reach you. So how do you practice forgiveness when the hurt feels too deep? Murphy gives us a simple but powerful technique. Every morning and evening, speak these words with feeling. I fully and freely forgive everyone who has ever hurt me, and I ask forgiveness of anyone I have hurt. I release all grudges, resentments, and negative feelings. I am free, and I set everyone free. You might need to name specific people. That's okay. Say their name and release them. And here's the crucial part. Forgive yourself. Most people carry deep guilt and shame. Murphy says you must forgive yourself for all mistakes, all failures, all regrets. Your subconscious is listening. When you forgive yourself, you give yourself permission to create something new. I know this isn't easy. Some wounds are deep. But Murphy promises this. If you practice forgiveness daily, even when it feels impossible, you will experience a freedom and lightness you haven't felt in years. Doors will open, relationships will heal, your health may even improve. Because forgiveness is the ultimate act of self-love. And when you love yourself enough to let go, the universe responds with miracles. So there you have it, the 7 foundational laws from Joseph Murphy's The Laws of the Mind. Let's recap quickly. Law 1. The law of belief. Whatever you believe with feeling becomes your reality. Law 2. The law of mental equivalence. Your outer world mirrors your inner world. Law 3. The law of substitution. Replace negative thoughts with positive ones. Law 4. The law of relaxation. Release effort and allow your desires to flow. Law 5. The law of subconscious activity. Your subconscious works continuously. Program it wisely. Law 6. The law of practice. Consistent repetition creates lasting change. And Law 7. The law of forgiveness. Release the past to free your future. Now, here's the most important question. What are you going to do with this knowledge? Because information without application is just entertainment. You can watch this video, feel inspired for a day, and then go right back to your old mental patterns. Or you can make a decision right now that today is the day your life changes. I want to challenge you to a 40-day experiment. Pick one law that resonated most with you, the one you feel would create the biggest shift in your life, and commit to practicing it every single day for 40 days. Maybe it's the law of belief, and you'll spend 10 minutes each morning visualizing your new reality with feeling. Maybe it's the law of forgiveness, and you'll release someone who's been holding space in your heart for too long. Maybe it's the law of practice, and you'll create a daily ritual of reprogramming your subconscious. Whatever it is, commit. Write it down. Tell someone. Make it real. Joseph Murphy spent his entire life proving that your mind is the master key to your destiny. You're not a victim of circumstances. You're not limited by your past. You're not stuck where you are. You have within you, right now, the most powerful creative force in the universe, your subconscious mind, and these laws are the instruction manual. I'll leave you with this. Murphy once said, "You are the captain of your soul, the master of your fate." No one can change your mental patterns for you. No one can believe for you. No one can practice for you. But when you take responsibility, when you commit to these laws, when you decide that you deserve a better life and you're willing to do the inner work to create it, everything changes. Your relationships transform, your finances improve, your health flourishes, opportunities appear, synchronicities multiply. Not because of magic, because of law. Universal, unchanging, reliable law. If this video resonated with you, do me a favor. Hit that like button so more people can discover these life-changing principles. Subscribe if you want more deep dives into books that actually change lives. And drop a comment below telling me which law you're committing to practice for the next 40 days. I read every comment, and I'll be here to support you on your journey. And if you want to go even deeper, I highly recommend getting Murphy's book, The Laws of the Mind. I'll put a link in the description. It's one of those rare books you'll return to again and again throughout your life. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for being someone who seeks truth, who wants to grow, who refuses to settle for a life of mediocrity. You are more powerful than you know. Your mind is more creative than you can imagine. And your best days, your best life, is waiting on the other side of these practices. Now go out there and claim it. I'll see you in the next video.